Hi guys, welcome back to the Wholehearted Journey. My name is Meredith Hudson. For those of y'all that are new here, what's up? Listen, the whole point of my podcast, which I probably need to start kind of having in the intro, is to kind of keep it real in all ways when it comes to your health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything. Keep it real. I have lost 120 pounds naturally. And there are some difficult things that I have walked throughout my entire life that have definitely impacted my health, again, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in a lot of different ways. And one thing that really drastically helped me so much on my 120-pound weight loss journey was listening to podcasts that were educational, informative, and also kind of just helped guide me through my journey, which is a massive reason why I have the Wholehearted Journey podcast. Because again, I am a coach. I've coached over 6,000 women. But I'm also just a girl who one day started her weight loss journey after being obese for almost 2 decades. And I'm just really passionate about helping people who are just like me or people who can relate to me in some shape or form. And so this podcast, I really hope has brought so many of you guys just a lot of helpful tips and tricks. And maybe you've laughed with me and cried with me and maybe just felt what I felt in the midst of kind of just I don't know, word vomiting here. But the reason why I'm going into this field is because this episode is not going to be easy for me. I think this is one of the most embarrassing things to admit that I have struggled with, and I just don't really like talking about it because people are very judgmental, and I don't really care what people think of me. I think that if you follow me on Instagram, that's pretty obvious. I really don't care what people think about me, and that's just kind of that's just how I am. I've always been that way. But this is something that I have cared that people have thought about me on. And I have struggled really deeply with just owning it and talking about it. And it's also something that I'm very disappointed in myself in. So we'll talk about it because I know I am so not the only one that struggles with this. I know a lot of people struggle with this. But even if you don't struggle with this, there's going to be a lot of things that you see yourself in that you're yeah, I understand that. I do get that. And so, before we go deep into this, I just want to give y'all a little bit of a life update. I just got back from Mexico. I just walked in my door. I said hello to my dog, gave her a lot of lovings. I have done absolutely nothing, but I just set up everything here and put this camera up and boom, here we are. So if I literally look like I just got back from the airport and I look insane, that is why. I smell like the airport. We ended up having the most chaotic trip on the way back. But I say that not in a negative way. I always love a little bit of chaos, if I'm being honest. If I have someone with me, I would have absolutely hated this if I was by myself, and I probably would have cried because I'm a sensitive gangsta. But I have my hubby with it. Anytime that I have an extended time with my husband, work turned off, phone on do not disturb, just me and my husband, that is something that I will take all day long. Give me more and more days than I can have that, because I don't really get to spend that much time with my husband because of work and because of all the other fundamental things that I'm sure that y'all can relate to. We don't have kids yet, and I'm just man, that's finding time with just me and him can be difficult. So I'm sure that y'all get that. So anyways, what happened was when we were leaving Mexico, our first flight was going to be flying to Phoenix, and we were supposed to have a connection flight from Phoenix to then Dallas. Well, our flight in Mexico was delayed by a couple hours, which then made us miss our connecting flight. And the only other option that they can put us on from a flight from Phoenix or even just a flight from Mexico, there's no other options unless it was the next day. So what they had us do was they had us fly to Phoenix, Arizona, and then we actually stayed the night in the nice little Holiday Inn. And then that next day, aka today, we took a flight from Phoenix to DFW, and then we drove about an hour and a half back to Waco, and here I am. Boom. It was really nice, though. I've been to Phoenix, Arizona, actually once before that, and actually it was for an actual vacation, and it was so fun. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like Scottsdale and Phoenix are like right by each other, right? If I'm mistaken on that, then my bad. But I have been in that area, and last time I was there, I got a cute little Arizona sweatshirt that I wear all the time. And so just naturally, while I was at the airport before we left, I got another cute one, except this one is way cuter, and I love it. It's so comfortable. Let me actually show y'all my jeans real quick. Okay, wait, can you see it? Isn't it cute? The whole fit, I don't know. I personally really like it. It's giving, cozy, cool girl. And so, yeah, I have worn these jeans like a lot in the last couple of days, so that's kind of nasty, but whatever. I don't care. But anywho, I think I'm slightly procrastinating because I don't want to talk about this, but you know what? I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid. Okay. Very first and foremost thing, and probably the most maybe obvious, is that here recently, your girl has got a little thick, just a little thicker. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. And it's not something I'm hating on myself about. I think a lot of times, every time I say to someone, like, I've gained weight or I'm a little thick or whatever, people like immediately are always like, no, but you're so beautiful. You look so good. I'm like, I'm not saying that I'm ugly. I'm just saying I'm in my big girl era. Like, what are you talking about? But I also think people don't realize that when I was 200 and almost 260 pounds, I was really, really confident. So when I talk about like me in my thick era or that I've gained weight, I'm never talking about it in like a negative way. The only time I've ever talked about it in a negative way is when I'm talking about kind of the habits that put me into that place. Like, yes, that does discourage me. That does upset me. And we will talk about that in this podcast. But appearance wise, I'm not hating on myself and shaming myself and being like, oh my goodness, like, oh, I'm in my thick area. I feel so like bad about myself, because like point blank period, our weight is going to fluctuate. Okay. Unless you are someone that is just either just really, 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 really on your stuff, no matter what, you never slip up, you never miss, like you are on it, and you're just that girl, then you will never have fluctuations. But I've just learned, and I'm not saying that this is facts, this is just my personal opinion, is that anytime someone doesn't deal with any type of fluctuations, that usually comes down to someone that's really to the extremist of health, to where they miss out on a lot of different things, or I don't know, their health and fitness world is kind of like a little bit consuming sometimes on the more negative side. Now, again, everybody is different. I am not saying that is true, but I am just saying from observing and from just certain situations and discussions that I've had from people who were very vulnerable and opened up about the fact that they have came almost this extremist to where they stop living their life to basically maintain this physique they've worked so hard for. I mean, that's real life. And there's a coach that I absolutely love, and she posted this recently on her social media, and I was so proud of her, because that's such an extremely difficult thing to admit. Being like, I have basically put my life on hold so I can just look like this and maintain this, and actually opening up and talking about that, especially as a coach, that takes probably poor choice of words, but balls, bro. Like, that is really, really difficult. And so I was really, really proud to see that from her. And it just makes me so happy to know her too, because women talking about these struggles and really kind of bringing real back into content, real back into storytelling, into just these like personal, intimate conversations. Like, you're listening to this podcast, whether you're driving or you're walking or you're washing your face or you're laying in bed, like that is you in intentionally allowing yourself to just like consume something, and let it be real. Let it be something that's like brings you a sense of, I see myself in that, or I relate to myself in that, or I relate to this topic so much in that. I don't know, maybe I'm not making any sense, but that's the reason why I love listening to podcasts. I love seeing myself in the podcast, and I want you to either educate me, call me out, or make me cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what I personally love. And so that's what I really want, what I want to do here with this podcast. So I'm just going to rip it off. Okay. I have gained close to about 12 pounds of body fat because I have been struggling really, really bad with overeating, like intense cravings, just like I cannot stop eating. I cannot stop thinking about food. Now, this is not because of I'm slipping back into like binge eating or old habits in that way. This is because I recently gave up something that is an extremely bad habit. And when you do that, what happens is you just want to self-sabotage yourself and go back into another old habit and like pick that one up. It's like you never want to lay down all your bad habits. And what I'm trying to say here is that this bad habit was vaping. I know that's probably really shocking to hear from me. Vaping. And I kind of want to go a little bit back. When me and Steven first met, I swore I was never going to be someone that smoked cigarettes ever. People in my family have always just been smokers, and it's something that I've seen them struggle with and not want, and then of course hear them openly be like, I don't want to smoke anymore, and struggle with quitting and giving it up and so forth. And so it was something I always said I would never do. And then when me and Steven got together, I'm not pointing fingers because this is on me, but he smoked cigarettes. And so just a lot of the people I hung out with smoked cigarettes. And it was just kind of like this thing at this age. Again, this is my decision. That's not pointing fingers. I'm just trying to paint a picture. So when I was about 21 years old, I picked up smoking cigarettes. And I smoked cigarettes all the way up until my weight loss journey, or around that time. I think at some point in my weight loss journey, I wanted to stop smoking cigarettes, but what I decided to do at that time was actually pick up a vape. And the whole goal was, when I picked up a vape, was to slowly wean myself off of smoking altogether and then trash the vape and be done. That was not what happened. I also think that when vapes came out, that was everyone's goal. I know so many of my friends, everybody, literally everyone knew, was like, that's the goal. As soon as I stop smoking cigarettes, I'm going to quit smoking cigarettes, I'll just vape, and then I'll just quit and it'll be like 20 times easier. Absolutely not. I don't know where that logic came from, because smoking cigarettes, you had to at least go outside. Vaping, you can vape inside. So it's like you're smoking indoor and outdoor, so you actually end up smoking more, because it's now more convenient. And so anyways, at one point, I ended up actually quitting smoking altogether. Like point blank period, quit cold turkey. And it was rough. I wasn't like that bad, to BH. Like it was just slightly like more on the lines of I had no energy. Like my brain fog was insane. It was more of a mental thing, in a sense of, every day felt difficult to push through. It just felt like I don't even know how to explain it. But the actual urge to want to vape and to want to smoke was not there. It was more of a mental thing. It just messed me up to where it was hard to work. It was hard to feel like myself. It was really, really, really weird. Anyways, when I was going through that, I kept thinking, oh, as time goes on, it's going to get so much easier. This is just completely normal. It's going to be just because of the withdrawals and so forth. This was before I ended up actually finding out that I had PCOS, but also before I found out I had H. pylori, which is gut bacteria, which is why what I was feeling was so intense. Because when you have H. pylori, since it's like affecting your gut health so badly, that's going to give you that your brain and your gut are one. So if your gut is messed up, your mind is going to be tore up from the floor up. So it made sense why my concentration was so bad and my memory was so bad, and I felt like I literally could not speak and sound like an actual human. You should have seen me try to host a meeting. You should have seen me trying to answer a client message. It took so much for me to do that. So it was rough, but at the time I thought it was because of the fact that I quit vaping. and smoking. So I'm like thinking to myself, what the heck is this ever going to subside? I felt that way for a huge amount of time, but I stayed strong because I was like, I am not picking up vaping, this and this and that. In the midst of all of this and during it was when I was getting tested for PCOS and my gut and everything. And that's when I found out all of these things. But by the time I actually started treating everything and got actual answers, I picked my vape back up because I was thinking, if it's been 8 months and I still feel this way, I just can't do it anymore. Like, it's almost been a year and I still feel like not myself. This is awful. So I picked it back up and it helped a little bit, but not really. And then when I treated my gut and that was all healed, and then my PCOS symptoms were all regulated, everything was then like, oh, perfect. I feel 100% myself now. This is insane. I feel like a completely different person. And when that happened, and in that moment, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, it was because of that and not because of me giving up the vape. So now my next goal is to give it up again. And so I quit again. I quit again, but then I started traveling more. And when I was traveling, I was drinking. And when I would drink, it made not vaping even more difficult. You see what I'm getting at here? It was so easy for me to let it down, but it was just as easy to pick back up. And that's where I was there. That's an addiction. That was like a real and raw, I'm struggling with this, like what the heck? And so anytime that I was kind of in this like weaker mindset, and that's kind of how I look at it, like drinking alcohol, like your mindset weakens. That's why you'll find yourself at the Whataburger drive-thru at 3:00 in the morning, or you're completely just saying screw it on how much you're drinking that night when you told yourself you weren't going to get drunk. That was never the goal. Like you just get, and you're just a completely different person. And that's genuinely what I turned into. It's like my mindset weakened, and I just was not 100% this disciplined version of myself anymore. And so I picked it back up, and for a while there was only when I drank, and then that quickly turned into, nope, you're doing it every day again. And it sucks because by this point, I've already gave advice to people who have been struggling with smoking and trying to put it down. And I'm giving advice to people, I gave advice to people, and I'm really proud giving this advice saying, hey, I laid it down, keep trusting the process, to then pick it back up, but have no idea how I can openly admit that. And be like, hey, I know a couple months ago you were asking me advice about X, Y, and Z. I gave you this, but like, by the way, update, I'm a like real failure. Like, I picked it back up. And that doesn't make me a failure. That just makes me someone that struggles with something, just like a lot of us can. But when you're going through that, you just don't really like to admit it, especially when you are a health coach and you have so many people that might look up to you, you know, like I don't want to disappoint anyone, but what's more disappointing to me is not being fully 100% me. And I think that's what I felt most ashamed of, was the fact that I was not openly honest about this struggle. I probably should have talked about it more. I probably should have posted about it more, but I just don't really know how to open myself up in that way and be completely transparent about something like this without receiving a ton of hate that would negatively impact my mental health, because it is something that obviously I battled with understanding. So, anywho, update to now, I no longer drink alcohol, so I'm completely sober for life. That was a beautiful thing. And I think definitely something that showed me, hey, Meredith, this is possible. You are capable of doing difficult things. Not that my 120-pound weight loss journey didn't teach me that, or my business that I launched, or any of these other decisions, but like a habit that I never thought that I would lay down type of thing, that made me really, really proud and gave me a huge sense of confidence, because I never thought that I would be 100% sober. Like, I never thought that would be me. I was never one that would go super buck wild since or after my weight loss journey. That I did back before my weight loss journey, for sure. I drank way too much alcohol before my weight loss journey. That was a huge part of my everyday life. That was rough. But after my weight loss journey, or during my weight loss journey, and then after, like, drinking wasn't really something I did that often. And maybe once or twice a month. Even at all during the month, right? So it was mainly when I just traveled, and that's it, to BH. But the day that I decided to just quit drinking altogether, because there was absolutely nothing good that came from drinking, and it wasn't in just my heart, when I woke up that day and I was sitting on that plane and I just had this thought, I just knew that it was very apparent that that was not a part of the plan that has been written out for me. And that was not it's just not part of who I am. And if I wanted to get to this version of myself, that I had to lay it down. And that was just a very clear feeling that I had in that moment. And so laying it down was like just a no-brainer. It wasn't even something I hesitated on. And I made that decision and pretty much announced it to the world before even telling anyone, or before even like processing it myself. And that's how certain I was on it when I felt that feeling. But since I gave up alcohol, I knew, okay, well, last time I quit vaping, I picked it back up because of alcohol. So now that I no longer have issues with my gut, and I now have my PCOS completely like managed, my symptoms are balanced. I'm having a balanced and regular cycle every single month. That's been happening now for a while, like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever the amount of time is now. I can't do the math. And now that I'm completely sober and I don't drink alcohol, this is my time to shine. I'm going to quit vaping. And so I did. Ash Wednesday, I woke up. I did not actually have that as a plan for me to wake up that day and give up vaping, but that's what happened. I woke up. I had that same feeling about laying down alcohol. I felt that exact same thing. So on Ash Wednesday, I gave it up, and yeah, boom. I no longer do it. And it was actually insanely easy. And I know why that's the case. But since then, just because it was easy does not mean that I haven't naturally made some shifts and behaviors. Meaning, I didn't struggle with the urge or wanting to, or withdrawals, or feeling like crap or anything like that. Like, I was kind of a little bit more, I guess you could say, unmotivated. I did notice a slight change in my energy and my drive. So my motive, I was unmotivated a little bit just to get things done, but I wouldn't say it was like horrible. My main thing was that I became very snackish, which was weird because it was the first time that I ever gave up vaping and turned to eating more. Like I said, this was the third time of quitting, and yet why would now be me picking this up? And I started thinking about it, and this is kind of the full circle moment. I personally believe that we always have this like thing within us, whether that be, I don't even know, this desire to sabotage ourselves. And that just is the best way to put it. When you lay down one bad habit, you always, like a lot of times, pick up another one, like another bad habit. It's like you flip-flop. It's why it's so common for me to see when someone starts doing really well in their nutrition, they start slumping on their workouts and then when they start doing really well in their workouts, they start slipping on their nutrition. Or in this example, I quit vaping, and because I quit vaping and drinking, now I'm struggling with snacking, and eating too much, and slipping now into this bad habit that has not affected me for years, like since my weight loss journey. Now, I'm not binge eating or anything like that, thank goodness. That is still very much in my past, but I'm very much knowingly overeating. Like, I'm eating so much. I'm eating 3 massive meals a day, and I'm snacking like 4 or 5 times throughout the day too. So like, how many meals is that? Okay, we got 3 meals, and then we got 5 snacks. I don't even know. It's just a lot, and it has to change. It has to change, because I have not just noticed weight gain, it's obvious weight gain. And my clothing is getting tight. I am in this stage now where I am uncomfortable. And just like in like these pants, luckily they are very comfortable on me right now, but a lot of my pants are not very comfortable. And I am starting to feel uncomfortable in some of my outfits that I feel the most comfortable in. And I'm just slipping. I'm just like disconnected from myself. And it sucks. But I will say something. I'm always a girly that's going to see the good even in the bad. That's how my mama raised me, TBH. That's just, she like warped my mind to think this way. But this is a hump that I eventually will get over. And when that happens, how beautiful will it be to officially, for the very first time in my life since starting my health journey, that I no longer struggle with binge eating or overeating. My relationship with food is completely, again, renewed and refreshed and healthy, and the food noise is completely gone. The cravings don't control me. Like, I am controlled, I am disciplined, I am in tuned. But on top of that, also say I no longer drink alcohol, completely sober for the rest of my life, which is the best decision I've ever freaking made ever. And I no longer smoke cigarettes and vape and lean into that. I also, like I said, don't drink a ton of caffeine. So for the very first time, I will be not just very, very healthy, the healthiest I've ever been. First time in my life to be at this place, have a cycle that is balanced, that I'm ovulating every month, that I'm in this like place hormonally, but to also know everything that I put into my body is clean and good, and well, not 100% clean, because bestie, I'm going to be eating some Chick-fil-A and stuff like that every now and then, okay? I'm not going to be like a total like whatever, but you get my drift here. Like, just going to that level of health is something that I will be very proud of. I know a lot of y'all might be disappointed when listening to this, but I knew I was going to cry. Why am I crying? I hate this. But this is a version that y'all see now. And if y'all would have known me years ago, you would probably be like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, this is wild. I know for some of the people who maybe I used to do their hair, or that's known me for many, many, many years, that maybe do listen to my podcast or follow me on social media, are probably like, what the heck? This is crazy. But because they're used to Mare and how I used to be, and they saw consistently the things that I battled and that I struggled with. And so I know yes, it's very different from who y'all see now, but I'm still playing catch up. I'm still playing like cleanup. I guess it's not catch up. I'm playing cleanup. That is the best way to put it. I am playing cleanup from all the bad habits that I fell into. And a lot of these bad habits came from a place of, honestly, trying to find comfort in all the wrong areas, trying to manage stress in all the wrong areas, relying on all the wrong things, needing and searching for answers in all the wrong places. And now I am here, and I've played cleanup, and I've played cleanup for a very, very long time now. I started my weight loss journey back in 2019. I hit my goal very, very beginning, like first week or so of January of 2022. I which by the way, I started my weight loss journey end of 2019. So yeah, it took me about 2 years to lose 120 pounds, and I've been maintaining my weight loss journey since January of 2022. So it's been many, many years of cleaning up. That's what, 6 years? What is that? A little over 6 years? I don't know. And so, yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? I've struggled with my weight majority of my life. I struggled with bad habits for majority of my life. And it took me a little over, or is about to take me a little over 6 years to completely play clean up and get myself into a place that I personally would want to be, health-wise and with habits and things that I lean towards, just mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, like where I have always dreamed of and never thought it was possible. Like that's where I'm at. And it took a little over 6 years to fully get there. Yeah, I don't know. And it's taken me and I was overweight for almost 2 decades. That doesn't even count all the other things that maybe I struggled with before, like being like noticeably unhealthy, right? So I don't know. Is this clocking? Is this making sense? So it sounds like a long time of playing cleanup, but honestly, it's really not much compared to how long I was living in it. And then how long I'm going to be free from it is, to me, what I actually pay attention to. I think a lot of times people look at how long it's going to take them to accomplish something, and that is something that discourages them. And I'm just like, why? Bro, if you think about it, let's just say it took you 3 years to lose 100 pounds. Let's just say it took you 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't care. It took you 6 years. Let's just say it took you 6 years, bro. You have so much life ahead of you. And this is a conversation I tell so many people, especially my girls who are in their 20s and 30s and 40s. I'm like, what are you doing? You have so much life ahead of you that why does it matter if it takes you 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, that to hit your goal, to completely turn around your life and these habits? Like, why does it matter? I mean, I get the concept. Like, we want it and we want it now. That's all of us. We're human, right? We want instant results. We don't want this to be a thing that takes forever. But we also have to understand that sometimes it takes us a while to lay down habits because we're not 100% willing to be in the mindset to truly commit to that. You know what I'm saying? Just like I was not willing to lay down alcohol or cigarettes, like, or smoking or whatever, nicotine, at the same time that I was trying to heal my relationship with food and lose the weight. Like, I had boundaries with alcohol and I had months that I didn't drink, but there was not even one time in my weight loss journey that I was like, I'm going to completely give up alcohol forever. Absolutely not. No. That was like a non-negotiable. I even have a TikTok that I made at the beginning of when I started posting TikTok videos about my journey, where it was like talking about restricting alcohol while losing weight. And I was just like, yeah, right. Like, I would never be that person. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So at that time, I was not even close to being willing to lay this down. And then when I was in my mains, then I was finally ready. And it wasn't immediately. It was a couple years in that then I was like, yeah, let's give this up. Let's give this up. To me, if I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, my goal is to always try to grow and to become just a better version of myself every year. Every year. Like, I want to continue. This will not be the last goal that I set. I will continuously set goals and lay things down that I'm not proud of. Right now, I'm also in the midst of, I don't cuss anymore. I still have oopsies, of course. Y'all heard that, last podcast episode, I think I slipped up. I have oopsies. But one day, how incredible would it be to be like, I haven't said a cuss word in a year. That would be amazing. The thing is, I know I will eventually get there. And I'm not trying, and I need to make this very, very clear. I'm not trying to be this quote unquote perfect person by any means. I will never be perfect. No matter how hard I try or how many things I back down or give up. But I want to always grow. I want to continuously revolve. And you want to know why? The main reason that is not just because I'm goal oriented or anything. It's because I spent so many years of my life staying the exact same. And the one time that when I started my weight loss journey and I proved to myself that I am capable of change, I am capable of accomplishing my goals, I told myself, I want more of that. I want to taste more of that. I want to live and experience more of that. And since then, it has, by doing that, by laying things down and becoming a yes person and not hiding behind fear and just doing it, has opened up so many opportunities for me and so many new doors. It's strengthened it's changed everything. It's changed my life, and it's led me to God. Most importantly, it has led me to the truth. And that also plays a massive role into my why, is to continue to keep growing and changing. And so, well, anyways, guys, my camera's dying. It's running out of storage. My mic wasn't even set up. I'm just a hot mess. But the moral of this is, because I know not everyone's going to relate to this. Not everyone struggles with this one thing. But the biggest point as to why I'm sharing this is to kind of normalize the fact that, one, it is normal, and something I definitely struggle with myself is that when you lay down one bad habit, it's very easy to pick up another one. And I don't want you to be ashamed of that. I don't want you to be embarrassed of that. It's very, very normal, and you have to see opportunity in it. Yes, you might go through a short period of time where you do struggle with it, and that is a bummer, and you can sometimes find yourself in the exact same position as me. I am 12, probably closer to 15, maybe after this Mexico trip, pounds heavier. I feel uncomfortable. My clothes are tight. Obviously, I'm a fitness coach, so it's like 100 times more, quote unquote, embarrassing to kind of like fall into a slump like this. But at the same time, I know I'm going to get out of it, and I know I'm going to turn it around, and I know this is going to be history. And like, come on, it's not the end of the world. It's not that serious, but I will eventually get to a place to where I am free from all these things, and I won't continuously sabotage myself over and over and over again, because you eventually get to a point to where you've laid down all the things and you now have developed 100% these beautifully healthy habits. And I think that's the goal. And it takes us a little bit of time, years, to fully get there. And that's okay, because you don't actually have to lay down everything at once. I strongly believe that there is a time and a place of when to lay down a bad habit. And getting to this place where I'm at with certain bad habits was not meant for me when I was on my weight loss journey. I needed to focus on not that smoking and drinking is not severe or things that play a massive role in health, but I needed to lay down and the main things to get on my feet and to drop the weight. And so it all worked out exactly when it was supposed to, and where I'm at now. And so, yeah, anywho, hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully y'all actually kind of enjoy this podcast episode. But I love you guys. I am now going to straight up chill, gonna film or like record this or edit this podcast and post it for you guys tomorrow. But please be kind. I know y'all will, because y'all are my girlies. But if there's anyone like that y'all personally know struggling with what I discussed a little bit in this podcast, you should probably send this to them, so that way they can be like, wow, this girl with these followers and this podcast, who's a fitness coach, who's done this and done that, struggled with what I struggle with. Like, I think that can be powerful. I think that can also help them see that just because you struggle with it now doesn't mean you don't, you can't just not just one day wake up and put it down. Because I'm telling you, that's majority of how I have turned my life around, is not overthinking it. As soon as I have kind of in a moment just felt like, you know what, I should probably do that, I just acted instead of fighting against it. And so it's led me to lose 120 pounds, again, be completely sober, and now give up vaping and so forth. So, yeah, I love you guys. And it feels good to kind of like admit this. Anywho, guys, I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. Thank y'all for giving me this space. And I will catch y'all next Tuesday. We'll keep it real. Love y'all.